Good day, welcome back to my neck of the woods. I'm Dika, and I like to give you my experiences and my knowledge from the outdoors and other things that I do, hoping to lessen your learning curve. So today I'm going to do a product review in more detail than a product review that I already have on my channel. It's the Hawk huntpod. It's also called the Transformer. What it is, it's a 9-foot tripod that you can use for hunting, but you can bring it in and out and it sets up with ease. My other video, which I'm going to put a link for in the top right corner here in case you haven't seen it, I am in the field and I'm recording, and you see me take it through the woods and how it goes over rocks and stumps, and then I set it up with a friend and then I show you how I brush it in. But I really didn't give any details on how I like it and how I set it up, and I didn't give you any specifications on it, so I'm going to do that now. Before I get started, please subscribe to my page, like my videos, and make some comments. You know that I like the comments. All right, so the Hawk huntpod, it weighs, I think, 93 pounds total, and what it does is, as you can see in the other video, it folds down into what you would consider a cart. You could definitely drag a deer on it without any problems. And I used it for kind of transport. We went to the woods and we put a couple of blinds on it. We put another stand on top of it, and it moves with ease through the woods. If you're on a trail, you can literally move it with one finger. No problems. Through straight woods, you need both hands. It has 20-inch wheels on it that they're solid wheels, and there's no air in them, so you don't have to worry about a flat tire. And they have sealed ball bearings, so they run really, really smooth. All right, so I'm going to give you some specs on. I'm going to start with the price. It's $340. Now, a lot of people might think that that's kind of steep for a stand, but I think it's well worth it. It's really versatile, but it has its place. I mean, you can't just pop it up in the middle of a field because it looks like a sore thumb just out there. You have to brush it in, or you have to put it in a place where maybe there's no trees that can hold a tree stand. It definitely has its purpose, but you can definitely kill deer out of it. It only being 9 feet, and it has its place. I mean, there's places where I put it where it's been in like shrubs, and I'll just take it and plop it right on top of the shrubs, and it looks like I'm sitting on the top of it, even with no backdrop. All right, so it is when you set it up. Actually, before I do that, when it's broken into the cart, when you're moving it, it is, I have some specs written down here. It is 27 inches wide by 25 inches in the height, and it's 7 feet long. So it's very easy to get into the back of a truck bed. All I would do is just kind of lean it, teeter it kind of on the wheels, put it on the bed, and then lift it up and then roll it right into the bed. It goes in very, very easy. Being close to 100 pounds, it moves like a breeze. Whoever designed it must have been an engineer, and they just, about the balance and everything, it's really well made, and it's beefy too. It's real beefy. It's made well. It's made for rough and tumble use. It's made as an sort of an outdoor piece of equipment. I've left it out for a whole season. Next year will be my 3rd year using it. I've left it out for a whole season and even moved it around a few times, and all the connections and everything, they work well. Now, I can talk about the connections on it too, but first I want to let you know some of the specs on it. So they say it's 9 feet tall on level ground, and as we know in the woods, it's hard to find level ground. So the feet have sort of plates on the bottom that move up and down like this, and they're almost on like a ball joint. And then you can, it's like a pin that you pull out, and then the feet telescope another 6 inches, maybe more, so you can level it on level ground. But if you're on level ground, you can get that seat level up to about 9.5 feet. The platform stands at about 6.5 feet. I think that's what I got for that. So there's 6 moving parts, so they say. Everything, there's no pieces really to lose, except maybe there's one screw I guess you could possibly lose. When you fold the platform, the seat, there's 2 screws that stay in there, and you attach them to the platform. That moves the seat. Then you sort of tip that forward, and then there are 2 legs that sort of fit into the bottom half of the platform, and they just work like pins. There's pins that pull out of a hole, and then there's a hole in the legs, and you put them in there, and the pins go in there. The pins are stationary. They stay in there. When you get it up, there's 2 supports on either side, and you'll see this in the other video, that sometimes you need a little elbow grease and you need a little muscle just to kind of pull it and get those in there. Those 2 have screw ends that I suppose you could possibly lose, but every time you take it off, you just screw it into the existing bolt that's there, and that doesn't stop you from doesn't prevent you from losing it, but they stay on. I mean, as long as you do that step, you're not going to lose the piece. And obviously, if you ever did lose it, you could get a wing nut or even a bolt, and that would hold it in, no problems. And then on the back, there's a piece that comes, it's sort of an A-frame in the front, A-frame in the back, and there's a piece that screws right into the top of the leg. You pull that down, and that's going to give you an extra support. It's very durable. It's very stable, and you can definitely kill deer out of it. But as far as the things that I used it for, I want to mention the seat too. The seat is, it's really comfortable. It's a mesh seat, good lumbar support. What else do I have? I have the platform. Platform is it's 24 inches wide and 30 inches long, and then the seat itself it's 21 inches wide, and then it's 16 inches from where your knee, the back of your knees would be, to where your ass would be in the back there, and then it's 16 inches on the back also. Excuse me, I got an itch. So it's bigger than you would think. It's probably one of the biggest sort of tripods, bipods that are on the market. All the other ones they have, there's one made by, I think it was Summit or Millennium. They made them, and they're really teetery, but they're really light too. You can put it right on your back and carry it in. This, like I said, this one weighs upwards of 100 pounds, and it's itchy. Upwards of 100 pounds. But as far as pushing it on a trail or even pushing it with things on it, it goes really nice. It's a little harder through straight woods or off the trail when you're going over logs and everything, but it's certainly not undoable. It's not undoable. It's certainly doable. Anyway, so what I would use it for is definitely I would just plop it right in the middle of a big ball of briars or some sort of unpassable thick brush that you can't get through. I think it can, once you get it together, it's really easy to lift if you have 2 people. Even 1 person, you can do it. But 2 people is better. And pick it up, and you just sort of plop it right in the middle of that, and then you can just climb up it and sit in it. And there's these sort of stakes that come in the bottom, and you can stake it into the ground. But, I mean, the wind's not going to blow it away. It's not going to be a problem. Another scenario that I really like looking for, and I think it works really, really well, is if you can find an area where 4 trees make a square, and if you look at it from another angle, I would call it a diamond, and you can sort of plop it right in the middle of those and angle it so there's a tree directly in front of you, there's a tree directly behind you, and a tree directly on either side. So it's like a diamond. You're in a square, and then you rotate the hunt pod to make it like a square. And I find that works really, really well because it really, really breaks you up. And I use pieces of an old blind or something that I have here for a backdrop, or even sticks and twigs and saplings and whatnot. And I will use those to brush myself in. And you also see that in the other video that I have. Otherwise, like I said, it has its place. You're not going to just plop it up in the middle of the woods because it is low and it is bulky, and any movement, the deer are going to pick up it. You're almost in the line of sight. It's like having a elevated blind without the blind. So you definitely need to brush it in. Definitely need to brush it in, and it definitely has its place. But overall, it's a wonderful piece of equipment. And for my purposes, I mean, I hunt out of stands, I hunt out of blinds, and I added this to the arsenal. I think having all the tools, and I know now, when I go out in the woods and I do some scouting, and I'll say, it's a perfect spot for the hunt pod. And I go from there. It is discontinued by Hawk, but there are other places you can get it. If you just Google it online, there's probably 3 or 4 places that pop up, and some places have it on sale. I have 2 of them, and I use them both every year. All right, that's all I got for you. Hopefully this is helpful to you. And like I said, subscribe to my page. Check out any of my other videos. This one will have a link into it, so you can check out the other video. But be well, and I'll talk to you guys next time. All right.